What if the loudest message you could ever send is silence, not a word, not a text, just absence? Would you still need closure then, or would the echo of nothing speak louder than any good I ever could? We've been conditioned to believe that endings require explanation, that we owe each other words, final thoughts, closure. But what if closure is a myth, a story we tell ourselves to avoid the void? The truth is, some goodbyes were never meant to be spoken. Some are meant to be felt. Silent goodbyes disturb us because they defy narrative. Humans crave stories with neat conclusions. We want to know why someone left, what changed, who to blame, but when there's only silence, our minds write their own endings. That's what makes it so powerful and so terrifying. In ancient Sparta, warriors didn't say goodbye before battle. They simply left. Silence was strength. To speak was to expose fear. They believed in action, not explanation. In the quiet, they found meaning, and perhaps even peace. Fast forward to today, and the idea of a silent exit feels almost cruel. Ghosting, we call it, the digital disappearance. A modern phenomenon built on ancient instinct, retreat. But beneath the surface, there's something deeper going on. A psychology of withdrawal. In 1973, psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory reshaped our understanding of human connection. He proposed that our earliest bonds, often with caregivers, set the blueprint for how we deal with intimacy, conflict, and yes, separation. For some, silence is self-protection. For others, it's punishment. And sometimes it's both, a silent goodbye isn't always a lack of care. Sometimes it's the opposite. It's the weight of too much, words fail, emotions overwhelm, and silence becomes the only language left. But let's not romanticize it too quickly. There's darkness here. Silence can wound. Being left with nothing, no answers, no closure, can drive a person to the edge. Think of Ophelia in Shakespeare's Hamlet abandoned, misunderstood. Her descent into madness wasn't triggered by violence, but by the deafening silence of those she loved. The absence of explanation became a vacuum that consumed her. In relationships, we're told that communication is key. And it is, but sometimes silence is communication. A boundary, a scream muffled by dignity, a refusal to explain oneself to those who never truly listened. There's a Japanese concept called ma, the space between things. The pause in music, the breath before a word. In Japanese aesthetics, this negative space is sacred. It's not empty, it's charged. That's what a silent goodbye is. It's not nothing. It's everything unsaid, crystallized in a single moment of absence. Consider the story of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. He left his palace, his wife, his newborn child. In silence, no letter, no goodbye, only a search for meaning. His departure wasn't betrayal. It was transformation. A path that required solitude, stillness, and yes, silence. Not all silent goodbyes are spiritual, though. Some are survival. In abusive relationships, victims often leave silently because explanations can be dangerous. Justifying their departure can put them at greater risk. In these cases, silence isn't cowardice, it's courage, a quiet revolution against control. But what about the person left behind? Silence forces them inward, forces them to sit with the unknown, to wrestle with ambiguity, and that in itself can be a form of growth. It's in the discomfort that we often find clarity, or at least a new beginning. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." But what happens when there's nothing left to listen to? No voice, no presence. Just space. That's when we're left with ourselves, and sometimes that's exactly what we need. Because maybe the person who left silently was never meant to stay. Maybe their role in your story was to be the silence that taught you how to hear your own voice. Too often we chase closure like it's a prize. We demand explanations to validate our pain, but closure is not something given. It's something made. It's forged in the quiet hours when there's no one to argue with but your own thoughts. And here's the paradox. Sometimes the silence that haunts you, heals you. The absence that once stung becomes a space you fill with self, understanding. You stop replaying the unanswered question. You stop looking for words that never came, and you start listening to what's always been there, your own truth. Not all stories need epilogues. Not all exits need announcements. Some of the most profound shifts in life happen quietly. A realization, a decision, a departure, all without a sound. So if you've ever been left without a goodbye, ask yourself, what did their silence teach you? What did you hear in the absence? And if you're the one considering a silent exit, pause, ask yourself if your silence is an escape or an expression. Is it fear? Is it peace? Is it the most honest thing you can offer? Because silence, like sound, carries intention. You don't have to explain your every move. But you do owe yourself the truth behind it. And sometimes the most compassionate goodbye is the one never spoken, but deeply understood. We live in a world obsessed with noise, with posting, announcing, performing, but some moments deserve stillness. Some endings are too sacred for words. So maybe the next time someone leaves without saying goodbye, you won't chase them, you won't beg for closure. You'll sit in the silence and let it speak, because sometimes, when words aren't necessary, silence says everything. If this resonated with you, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found value in the silence between these words, like the video, subscribe for more, and remember, not every goodbye is loud. Some are just, true.